Welcome back to another episode of 40 Facts About the 40K Universe. I am your host, Gersh1, and today we're going to be talking about an abhuman touched by chaos, the Tzaangor. If you're new to the channel, subscribe. We post Warhammer 40K lore videos every single day. If you have any suggestions, please let me know what they are in the comment section below. And if you enjoy our content, thank our patrons on Patreon. It is because of them that we can do this. Link in the description if you guys want to support us. But with that said, let's get into 40 facts on the Tzaangor. The Tzaangor is a species of abhuman that has been mutated from its original beastman form by the chaos god Tzaangor. Extremely powerful and sharp of intellect, these chaos-touched abhumans are extremely dangerous on the battlefield. The origins of Tzaangors are as varied as their appearance. They arise wherever Tzaangor wills it, and are brought into being by his blessed transmutations. Some are the product of grim experiments performed on the slaves taken from the planet of the sorcerers. Others are shaped from the crews of damaged starships caught in warp storms, their bodies transmuted through exposure to pure immaterial power. But without a doubt, the most horrific are the Tzaangors born of human mothers on worlds enshrouded by the Cicatrice Maledictum. Whole generations of these creatures burst quickly into nightmarish existence, whereupon they ravenously devour the defenders of their home planet. The blasphemous chanting of mass Tzaangors rise to a crescendo as they draw closer to their prey. Multi-hued tongues flap within their beaks, eagerly lapping up the taste of fear and confusion. Iridescent eyes glow with inhuman savagery, and the cruelly twisted horns that sprout from each Tzaangor skull clatter together as they vie to be the first in the fray. With jagged blades, they hack their victims apart before trampling the dying beneath clawed feet. Tzaangors are the mutated bearers of Tzaangor's blessing, unnatural abominations who serve as shock troops for the Thousand Suns thrall bands. Their bodies, though hideously malformed by the warping powers of the Architect of Fate, are ideally suited for warfare. Long limbs flex with corded muscles, and thorny quill-like protrusions grow across their chests and shoulders. Most Tzaangors resemble some form of a combination of man, beast, and bird, although some are even more aberrant in shape, with heads that split down the middle, or bodies rent with fluctuating clefts. Tzaangors are driven by a warp-infused compulsion to seek out knowledge in all of its forms, and to slaughter those who stand in the way of this pursuit. Alongside these predatory instincts exists a level of cunning and intelligence belied by their monstrous form. Tzaangors are more than capable of formulating complex battle plans, communicating amongst their ranks through harsh trills and clicks. Working together in flocks, they can run ruin through an unsuspecting populace or entrenched enemy lines. Each Tzaangor is motivated by a personal desire to accumulate arcane knowledge, and it is their belief that through this pursuit of such knowledge, they may receive even more of Tzaangor's blessings. To enact their butchery, some Tzaangors wield massive blades created from metal or bone, while others use buzzing chainswords or crude auto pistols. Often, a member of the flock will carry a demonically mauled instrument, the piercing blast of which stirs other nearby Tzaangors into a bestial frenzy. The most savage members of the flock is known as the Twistbray, and they usually bear on their bodies the most warping gift of their creator god. Tzaangors whose hunt for knowledge has caught the eye of their god may be bestowed one of Tzaangor's blessings. Often this results in the creature devolving into an even more grotesque abomination, a chaos spawn. However, the lucky few engorged with such warped powers are elevated above their twisted brethren, physically, mentally, and spiritually. They exist in a state of constant communion with Tzaangor, and through him they see the shifting strands of fate converging and separating. The other Tzaangors view the enlightened as paragons of warfare, and the destiny towards which they all must progress. Enlightened, as they are called, soar above the battlefield on discs of Tzaangor, riding the streams of fate as a raptor would ride thermals. Even the sorcerers of the Thousand Suns respect these creatures, for their savagery is seen as one of Tzaangor's many esoteric tools. Constantly aware of the flow of casualties, Enlightened can see where and when their strike will cause the most damage. The divining spear they carry are tuned to predetermined victims, emitting humming sounds that grow louder as they near their target. The most exalted of the Tzaangors are known as shamans. They are oracles and prophets, and they preach to their flock atop flying discs of Tzaangor. Their psychic mastery is born not of endless study, but of singular devotion to their god, and is unleashed upon their foes amidst ritual chants in their many languages of the Tzaangors. It is with the shamans that the sorcerers of the Thousand Suns make their fell pacts, though these sorcerers are ever wary of the deals they make. The shamans serve the fickle will of Tzaangor above all else. On the planet of the sorcerers, shamans lead herds of their kin on long pilgrimages across constantly shifting warp wastes. These mass migrations follow lines of power that wind across the planet's crust, converging at sites where the roiling etheric energy is the thickest. At these sites, they raise great megaliths inscribed with glyphs and runes, and shaped in symbols sacred to Tzeentch. They serve as repositories of the arcane knowledge stolen and despoiled by the Tzaangor tribes. The shamans use these to channel Tzeentch's power throughout real space by erecting duplicate monoliths in the jungles and plains of other worlds. The longer each megalith remains in place, the more its warping influence bleeds into the planet from which it stands, transforming the world and prepping it for a full-scale invasion. In battle, Tzaangors will often form a fighting formation known as a Tzaangor warhead. Led by an exalted sorcerer, when this formidable bestial formation charges into battle, the airs fill with a cawing, hooting cacophony. Cantrips spark from gnarled talons, and weapons are discharged through sheer exuberance. These beastmen serve their sorcerer master tirelessly, and their spoils of war are corpse harvests. With these cadavers, they create grotesque puppets. They use the body parts for stewing a vile witch's brews, and sprawling jewels with which to adorn their jutting horns and feathered anatomies. These abominations are truly the warriors of the Changer of Ways. Their existence is a reminder of the horrors of the mutating effects of fate. And those were 40 facts on the Tzaangor. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Now that you learned the lore behind the Tzaangor, what I recommend is that you go and check out our 40 facts on the Beastmen. I created that video not too long ago, so it's one of our better ones. Beastmen are a type of abhuman that obviously the Tzaangor comes from. The Beastmen, normally you think of them as chaotic beings because they are susceptible to chaos, just like Tzeentch was able to create the Tzaangor. Khorne was able to create the beastmen that's devoted to him. I think they're just coordinate beastmen. But check out our 40 facts because it goes over the good beastmen. Because at the end of the day, they are just abhumans, meaning that they came from humanity. They were basically the individuals that colonized, or the humans that colonized certain planets, and because of the differences in the actual planets compared to Terra, they became beastmen, and the Emperor found them during the Great Crusade. They became part of the Imperial Army, and it's just a bunch of really good lore that you should check out if you haven't done so. Like I said, I'll put a link up above or in the description below. And what's cool is that these guys were originally like Age of Sigmar models or like Warhammer Fantasy, but you can play them on the tabletop now for 40k, and it seems like 9th edition they're probably going to continue with like the beastmen of all 4 chaos gods and allowing you to play them within your chaos army as like infantry and stuff like that. And then once you have learned about the beastmen, what I recommend is you check out our playlist with the abhumans, just because the beastmen are just one of many abhumans. You have the Ogrins, the Ratlings, the Squats, and we have an entire playlist of just like different types of humans that just evolve differently. And the Imperium either completely got rid of them, or they are some of them are still within the Imperial Guard, so they're actually fighting for the Imperium, and then other ones like the Squats, their lore just completely change. But check out our 40 facts on the Squats if you guys want to learn more about them. They're basically sci-fi dwarves. But yeah, if you guys have suggestions for any other types of chaos lore that you guys would like us to cover, let me know what it is in the comment section below. If you want to learn more about Tzeentch and are interested in the demons of Tzeentch, you should check out our 40 facts on the Changer of Ways. I think it's the Changer of Ways, or is it the Keeper of Secrets? I can't remember, but both of those are greater demons of either Slaanesh or Tzeentch, and we have like a pretty long video explaining the powers of Tzeentch and how Tzeentch will just empower his followers, but at the same time curse them. Oh, and you should check out our horrible realities on being devoted to Tzeentch. I'll put a link up above, but basically I go over the flaws to being devoted to the Chaos God Tzeentch, because at first Tzeentch seems pretty good. Like, I mean, it's just knowledge, but then you quickly find out that no, there's some horrible things about Tzeentch and what he does. So check that video out on the channel in the archives. Thank you guys so much for listening, and I will talk to you tomorrow. This is Gersh1 with One Mind Syndicate signing out.
refuse to put my freedom first in any situation.